The question of when the law of Moses ended is central to understanding the transition from the Old Covenant to the New Covenant established by Christ. While Realized Eschatology claims that the law continued until the destruction of Jerusalem in AD 70, the Scriptures present clear evidence that the law of Moses ended at the cross. This video will examine the biblical basis for the end of the Mosaic Law, respond to the claims of RE advocates, and provide a comprehensive view of this significant transition. God's dealings with humanity have unfolded in distinct periods, each governed by a specific covenant or law system. These include 1. The patriarchal dispensation. During this period, God communicated directly with the heads of families, who acted as both priests and prophets, like Abraham and Noah. 2. The Mosaic dispensation. The law of Moses was given exclusively to the nation of Israel as a covenant between God and his people. As stated in Deuteronomy 5:3, this law governed Israel's religious, moral, and civil life, but was never intended to be universal or eternal. 3. The Christian dispensation. With Christ's death on the cross, the law of Moses was fulfilled and replaced by the new covenant, which governs all humanity, as mentioned in Hebrews 1:1-2. Realized eschatology shifts the focus of biblical history from the cross to the destruction of Jerusalem in AD 70. Advocates claim that the law of Moses and the new covenant overlapped between Acts 2 and AD 70, with the Mosaic Law fully ending only at Jerusalem's destruction. This view hinges on passages like Matthew 5:17-18, interpreted to mean that the law could not pass away until every prophecy was fulfilled, including those related to AD 70. However, RE's claims are inconsistent with the biblical evidence and create theological contradictions. The following analysis will refute these claims and demonstrate that the law of Moses ended at the cross. Biblical evidence for the end of the law of Moses. Jesus stated, "Do not think that I came to destroy the law or the prophets. I did not come to destroy, but to fulfill. For assuredly I say to you, till heaven and earth pass away, one jot or one tittle will by no means pass from the law till all is fulfilled." The key to understanding this passage is the meaning of fulfill. Jesus fulfilled the law by accomplishing its purpose, to bring humanity to salvation through him, as mentioned in Galatians chapter 3, verse 24. His death completed the law's purpose, as indicated by his declaration on the cross. It is finished, John 19, verse 30. The reference to heaven and earth emphasizes the certainty of this fulfillment, not a literal continuation of the law until the destruction of the physical heavens and earth. Paul uses the analogy of marriage to explain the believer's relationship to the law. You also have become dead to the law through the body of Christ, that you may be married to another, to him who was raised from the dead. The law of Moses no longer had dominion over believers because they were dead to the law through Christ's death. This transition occurred at the cross, not in 70 AD, as Paul wrote these words long before Jerusalem's destruction. Paul states that Christ abolished in his flesh the enmity, that is, the law of commandments contained in ordinances, so as to create in himself one new man from the two, thus making peace. The law of Moses created a division between Jews and Gentiles, but Christ's death abolished this barrier, uniting all believers in one body. The abolishment of the law occurred in his flesh at the cross. Not during the events of 70 AD, Paul writes, "Having wiped out the handwriting of requirements that was against us, which was contrary to us. And he has taken it out of the way, having nailed it to the cross." The law of Moses, described as the handwriting of requirements, was removed at the cross. This decisive act invalidates Realized Eschatology's claim that the law continued until 70 AD. Paul explains that the law was added because of transgressions, till the seed should come to whom the promise was made. The law served as a tutor to bring us to Christ. Once Christ came and established the new covenant, the law's purpose was fulfilled, and it was no longer binding. Responding to Realized Eschatology's proof text, Paul writes in 2 Corinthians chapter 3, verse 11, "For if what is passing away was glorious, what remains is much more glorious." Realized Eschatology claims that the present tense, passing away, indicates the law was still in effect when Paul wrote. However, Paul is referring to the fading glory of the Old Covenant, which was destined to end from its inception. The new covenant, established at the cross, is permanent and superior. The writer of Hebrews states, Now, what is becoming obsolete and growing old is ready to vanish away. Realized eschatology interprets this as evidence that the law was still in effect. However, this passage refers to the Old Covenant's obsolescence prophesied in Jeremiah chapter 31, verses 31 to 34. The law had been rendered obsolete by Christ's death, though its outward forms, like the temple system, persisted until 70 A.D. The Scriptures consistently emphasize the cross as the pivotal moment in God's redemptive plan. Christ's death fulfilled the law, inaugurated the new covenant, and reconciled humanity to God. Realized eschatology's focus on 70 A.D. detracts from the centrality of the cross and creates theological inconsistencies such as the coexistence of two covenants, a concept Paul explicitly condemns in Romans chapter 7, verses 1 to 4. The law of Moses ended at the cross, where Christ fulfilled its purpose and established the new covenant. The claims of realized eschatology, which extend the law's duration to 70 A.D., contradict clear biblical teaching and undermine the significance of the cross. As Paul wrote, "Christ is the end of the law for righteousness to everyone who believes." Romans 10, verse 4. Let us uphold the cross as the cornerstone of our faith and reject doctrines that distort its significance.